Close your eyes and imagine a world untouched by cities, roads, or empires. A world where the stars burn brighter, where vast herds of gazelle roam golden plains, and where humanity stands at the threshold of something extraordinary. It's 9600 BCE, and in the rolling hills of southeastern Turkey, near a place we now call Kanlıurfa, a hill rises from the earth. Locals will one day name it Göbekli Tepe, Potbelly Hill. Beneath its surface lies a secret that will rewrite the story of human civilization. This is Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple, a monument to the dreams, fears, and genius of our ancient ancestors. Join us on a journey through time to uncover the mysteries of a place that challenges everything we thought we knew about the dawn of humanity. For the next 4 hours, we'll walk the paths of Göbekli Tepe, explore its towering pillars, and delve into the lives of the people who built it. We'll trace its discovery, unravel its significance, and confront the questions it raises about who we are and where we came from. This is not just the story of a temple, it's the story of us. It's October 1994. Klaus Schmidt, a German archaeologist with a keen eye for the past, stands atop a windswept hill in southeastern Turkey. He's here to survey what locals dismiss as an old cemetery or Byzantine ruin. The mound, Göbekli Tepe, is unassuming, about 15 meters high, 300 meters wide, dotted with limestone fragments farmers have cursed for generations. But Schmidt notices something peculiar. Among the scattered stones, he spots edges too precise, shapes too deliberate. These aren't natural rocks. They're carved, massive, purposeful. Schmidt's curiosity sparks a decision that will change archaeology forever. He returns the next year with a team, tools, and a hunch that this hill hides something monumental. As they dig, the earth yields its first secret, a T-shaped limestone pillar, standing like a sentinel, frozen in time. It's 18 feet tall, weighs nearly 20 tons, and is carved with intricate reliefs: foxes, snakes, scorpions, and boars, their forms vivid and lifelike. More pillars emerge, arranged in a circle, like an ancient arena open to the heavens. The team is stunned. This is no cemetery. This is something far older, far grander. Carbon dating delivers a bombshell. These structures date to around 9600 BCE, over 11,000 years ago. To grasp the weight of this, consider the timeline. The Great Pyramids of Egypt are still 7,000 years in the future. Stonehenge, a mere 5,000 years away. The last ice age is only just fading. Mammoths still roam parts of the earth. And humanity is supposed to be a scattered band of hunter-gatherers, living hand-to-mouth. Yet here, in the cradle of the Fertile Crescent, they built something that defies imagination: a temple, older than any other known monument, crafted with skill and vision we never thought possible. Let's step closer to these pillars, the heart of Göbekli Tepe. Picture them, T-shaped, towering, their limestone surfaces smoothed by ancient hands. Some are as tall as a 2-story house, others smaller but no less imposing. Each is a masterpiece of Neolithic art, Their surfaces teem with carvings, wild animals in dynamic poses. A fox leaps, its bushy tail arched. A snake slithers, its scales meticulously etched. A boar glares, tusks bared. Vultures soar, their wings spread wide. Scorpions, lions join this menagerie, alongside abstract shapes, crescent moons, wavy patterns, and human-like figures. Figures with arms, belts, and loincloths carved into the stone. The pillars are arranged in circles or enclosures, at least 20 of them across the site, though only a few have been fully unearthed. Each enclosure is roughly 10 to 20 meters wide, with 6 to 8 pillars forming a perimeter. At the center of many stand 2 larger pillars, often over 15 feet tall, facing each other like guardians of a sacred space. Archaeologists call these enclosures temples, but the word feels inadequate. They're more like theaters of stone, stages for rituals we can only imagine. How were these pillars made? The process was monumental in itself. Nearby quarries show where the stones were cut, likely with flint tools, simple yet razor-sharp. Workers, perhaps hundreds or thousands strong, would have quarried the limestone, shaped the pillars with painstaking care, and transported them to the hilltop. No wheels, no draft animals, just human strength, levers, and ropes. Raising a single pillar into its socket would have been a communal triumph, a moment of collective pride. The carvings, too, demand awe. These were not crude scratches. The artists wielded tools with precision, capturing the spirit of animals with a realism that speaks of deep observation and reverence. But Göbekli Tepe is a place of questions as much as answers. Why these animals? Were they totems, spirits, or symbols of clans? Some pillars bear human-like traits: arms, hands, belts, even tattoos or body markings. Are these figures deities, ancestors, or priests frozen in stone? Some scholars see the T-shape itself as anthropomorphic, the horizontal bar a head, the vertical shaft a body. Others point to the enclosure's orientation, suggesting alignments with stars like Sirius, hinting at an astronomical purpose. Was Göbekli Tepe an observatory, a calendar in stone, or a place where earth and sky, human and divine, were brought into harmony? Who were the people who built this wonder? Let's step into their world. The pre-pottery Neolithic, a time of transition. The Fertile Crescent, stretching from modern-day Turkey to Iran, is a land of abundance. Wild wheat and barley grow in patches. Gazelle and aurochs roam the plains, and rivers teem with fish. These hunter-gatherers are not the starving nomads of old stereotypes. They're skilled, adaptable, and deeply connected to their environment. They craft tools of flint and obsidian, weave baskets, and sew garments of hide. Their lives are mobile, following game and seasons, but they're far from simple. Göbekli Tepe suggests something more, a society capable of organizing on a grand scale. Building these enclosures required coordination, quarrying teams, carvers, haulers, and perhaps leaders or shamans to inspire the effort. Estimates suggest hundreds, even thousands, gathered here, drawn from across the region. Were they kin groups, tribes, or a coalition of clans? The site shows no signs of permanent homes in its earliest layers, suggesting it was a place of pilgrimage, a sacred hub where people converged for rituals, feasts, or ceremonies. Picture a gathering at Göbekli Tepe. Fires blaze under a star-filled sky. The scent of roasted gazelle fills the air. Men and women, adorned with beads and feathers, move through the enclosures, their voices rising in song or chant. The pillars loom, their carvings flickering in the firelight. Perhaps they tell stories of hunts, ancestors, or cosmic events. Maybe they dance, their shadows merging with the stone animals. The central pillars, towering above, might represent deities or spirits presiding over the rite. This is a place of connection, where bonds are forged, alliances sealed, and beliefs shared. But what drove them to build? Some archaeologists, like Klaus Schmidt, argued Göbekli Tepe was a religious center, a cathedral on a hill, where spiritual hunger found expression. The carvings, he believed, were not mere decoration, but a language of symbols, encoding myths or cosmologies. Others see social motives. Building Göbekli Tepe may have been a way to unite scattered groups, creating a shared identity through shared labor. Feasts, requiring vast amounts of game and wild grains, could have cemented social ties, laying the groundwork for settled life. Göbekli Tepe's greatest revelation lies in its challenge to history. For decades, archaeologists believed civilization followed a clear path. First, humans invented agriculture, creating food surpluses. Then, settled villages formed, leading to cities, temples, and organized religion. This model placed farming at the root of complexity. But Göbekli Tepe turns this upside down. Here, the temple came first, built by hunter-gatherers long before widespread farming. Agriculture, it seems, may have followed, not led. Klaus Schmidt's famous phrase, "First came the temple, then the city," captures this revolution. He argued that Göbekli Tepe's construction drew people together, creating a need for stable food sources. Nearby, early experiments with wild wheat and barley may have intensified, leading to domestication. Sites like Navali Kori, just 50 kilometers away, show early farming by 8500 BCE, suggesting Göbekli Tepe was a catalyst for the Neolithic Revolution, the shift from foraging to farming that birthed civilization. Recent evidence supports this. Excavations have found grinding stones, flint sickles, and traces of plant residues at Göbekli Tepe, hinting at food processing. Was this the dawn of agriculture, sparked by the need to feed crowds at the site? Some scholars argue the site demands labor resources, and feasts pushed hunter-gatherers toward cultivation, setting the stage for villages and cities. Göbekli Tepe, then, is not just a temple, but a pivot point in human history. Yet Göbekli Tepe is a puzzle, its purpose shrouded in time. Was it truly a temple? A term like temple assumes modern notions of religion, but these people lived in a world where the sacred and mundane were likely inseparable. The enclosures, with their central pillars, suggest spaces for ritual. The carvings, animals, humans, symbols, might encode stories or beliefs. But what stories? What beliefs? One theory sees the animals as totems, representing clans or spiritual forces. Foxes, swift and cunning, might symbolize a group's identity. Snakes, linked to rebirth in many cultures, could hint at cycles of life and death. Vultures, associated with sky burials in later Neolithic sites, might connect to funerary rites. Some carvings show humans interacting with animals, a man clutching a fox, another seemingly attacked by a lion. Are these myths, hunts, or shamanic visions? Another theory points to the stars. Researchers like Martin Sweetman of the University of Edinburgh argue the carvings form a solar calendar, tracking celestial events. V-shaped symbols on one pillar resemble constellations, possibly Taurus, linked to a comet strike around 10,950 BCE that may have triggered the Younger Dryas, a mini ice age. This environmental crisis, cooling the planet for over a millennium, could have shaped the builders' worldview, driving them to mark time and seasons in stone. Göbekli Tepe, then, might be an observatory, a monument to the cosmos. The human-like pillars add another layer. Some bear belts, loincloths, even tattoos, suggesting they're not mere abstractions, but figures of significance, God's ancestors, or deified heroes. One enclosure, dubbed the Lion Pillar Building, features a human head cradled by a vulture, hinting at death or transcendence. Were these spaces for ancestor worship, initiation rites, or confronting mortality? The absence of burials at the site complicates this, but nearby Karahan Tepe, with similar iconography, shows skull fragments, suggesting ritual handling of the dead. As we speak, Göbekli Tepe continues to yield secrets. Since Schmidt's death in 2014, excavations have expanded under Turkish prehistorian Necmi Karel and a joint team from Istanbul University, Konliurfa Museum, and the German Archaeological Institute. In 2025, archaeologists uncovered a painted wild boar statue in Enclosure D, its red, white, and black pigments startlingly vivid. Nearby Karahan Tepe, part of the Stone Hills project, revealed a 7'6" human statue and a vulture figure, linking these sites in a regional network of ritual complexes. These finds challenge earlier views. Initially, Göbekli Tepe was seen as a purely ceremonial site, with no evidence of homes. But recent digs have uncovered domestic structures, living quarters, grinding mills, and tools for processing cereals. Plant residues suggest early cultivation, perhaps of wild wheat or barley. Was Göbekli Tepe a settlement as well as a sanctuary? This blurs the line between sacred and secular, suggesting a community where ritual and daily life intertwine. A water supply, possibly from cisterns or springs, supports this. The site's location, fertile and well-watered, would have sustained a group experimenting with agriculture. These discoveries align with evidence from nearby sites like Kion, where domesticated plants appear by 8500 BCE. Göbekli Tepe may have been a crucible where hunter-gatherers transitioned to farming, driven by the social and spiritual demands of their temple. The solar calendar theory has also gained ground. Carvings of 365 V-shaped marks, alongside lunar and solar symbols, suggest a sophisticated understanding of time. If true, Göbekli Tepe's builders were not only architects but astronomers, mapping the heavens to navigate a changing world. The younger Dryas, with its climatic upheavals, may have spurred this focus as they sought stability in the stars. Around 8000 BCE, after centuries of use, Göbekli Tepe's story takes a dramatic turn. The people who built it didn't abandon it. They buried it deliberately, carefully, with tons of earth and rubble. Enclosure by enclosure, the pillars were covered, sealed from the world. Why? This act preserved the site remarkably, protecting carvings from erosion and time, but it also locked away its purpose, leaving us to speculate. Was the burial an act of reverence? Did the builders believe their temple had fulfilled its sacred role, entrusting it to the earth for eternity? Some see parallels with later traditions, where sacred objects are retired or hidden. Others suggest a cultural shift. By 8000 BCE, farming was spreading. Villages like Kataluk were rising, and new beliefs may have replaced older ones. Was Göbekli Tepe's burial a farewell to a nomadic past, a way to close a chapter as settled life began? The burial wasn't total oblivion. Nearby sites like Karahan Tepe continued, suggesting the region's ritual traditions evolved. But Göbekli Tepe itself became a memory, a hill beneath which history slept for millennia, until Klaus Schmidt's spade woke it once more. To grasp Göbekli Tepe's place, let's widen our lens to the Neolithic world. The Fertile Crescent, from the Levant to Mesopotamia, was a crucible of change. By 9600 BCE, the younger Dryas was waning, temperatures rising, and resources flourishing. Hunter-gatherers were experimenting with Sadentism, staying put longer, managing wild crops, and taming animals. Sites like Jericho, with its famous walls, and Nachafian settlements in the Levant show early steps toward settlement. Göbekli Tepe stands out for its scale and age. Compare it to Karahan Tepe, 30 kilometers away, with similar pillars and statues, suggesting a regional ritual culture. Navali Kori, a later site with T-shaped pillars and early farming, bridging Göbekli Tepe to settled life. Kataluk, 600 kilometers west, a 7,000-year-old village where ritual and domestic spaces merged. Jericho, with its tower and walls, showing early fortification but less monumental art. Göbekli Tepe's uniqueness lies in its early date and its focus on monumental, non-domestic structures. It's a pioneer, a spark that ignited the social and spiritual currents of the Neolithic. The site also hints at trade and networks. Obsidian tools at Göbekli Tepe, traced to sources hundreds of kilometers away, suggesting exchange with distant groups. Shared iconography, animals, T-shapes, appears across the region, pointing to a cultural web. Was Göbekli Tepe a hub, drawing pilgrims from far and wide? Its influence may have rippled outward, shaping the Neolithic transition. Today, Göbekli Tepe is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a beacon for scholars and travelers. Its visitor center, expanded in recent years with funding from the Turkish Ministry of Culture and the Dogus Group, welcomes thousands annually. Protective canopies shield the pillars, balancing preservation with access. Tour buses arrive daily, and Canleyurfus hotels brim with visitors drawn to this ancient enigma. Göbekli Tepe's impact transcends archaeology. It challenges us to rethink human potential. These hunter-gatherers, often dismissed as primitive, were architects, artists, and visionaries. Their pillars speak of a universal human drive to create, to connect, to seek meaning in a vast universe. In a world grappling with division and uncertainty, Göbekli Tepe reminds us of our shared roots, our capacity to unite for something greater. The site has also sparked debate beyond academia. Popular writers, like Graham Hancock, link Göbekli Tepe to lost civilizations or cosmic events, though mainstream scholars dismiss these as speculative. Yet such ideas reflect the site's power to ignite imagination. It's a canvas for our questions about origins, purpose, and destiny. As we speak, Göbekli Tepe's story is far from over. Only a fraction of the site, less than 10%, has been excavated. Ground-penetrating radar reveals more enclosures beneath the hill, each a potential trove of insights. Archaeologists estimate another century of work lies ahead, each season bringing new finds. The Stone Hills Project, encompassing Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe, and other sites, promises to map a lost Neolithic world. What will we learn? Will we decode the carvings, revealing a forgotten mythology? Will we find burials shedding light on the builders' beliefs about death? Or will new technologies, DNA analysis, isotopic studies, tell us who these people were, where they came from, and how they lived? Göbekli Tepe is a living puzzle, each discovery a piece that brings us closer to our past. The site also faces challenges. Tourism, while vital, strains resources. Climate change threatens the region's delicate environment. Preservation efforts must balance access with protection, ensuring Göbekli Tepe endures for future generations. International collaboration, Turkish, German, and global, will be key to safeguarding this treasure. As we stand before Göbekli Tepe's pillars, we're not so different from those who carved them. We, too, gaze at the stars, ask questions of the universe, and build monuments to our dreams. These stones, etched with animals and symbols, are more than relics. They're a mirror reflecting humanity's eternal quest for meaning, connection, and transcendence. Göbekli Tepe is the world's oldest temple, but it's also a beginning spark that lit the flame of civilization. Its builders, hunter-gatherers, with flint tools and boundless vision, remind us that even in our earliest days, we were dreamers. They left us a legacy in stone, a story that speaks across millennia. As we listen, we hear not just their voices, but our own. This is Göbekli Tepe, a place where the past whispers, the present marvels, and the future finds its roots. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. May the stones of Göbekli Tepe inspire you to seek your own answers, to build your own monuments, and to carry the light of our shared humanity forward. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you in the next video.